Hello, how are you? Assalamu alaikum, everyone. This is Burair Ali Hussain with Brainstorming with Burair. Brainstorming with Burair is a platform where you meet different people from all around the world who have done something great in their lives. So today's guest have done something very extraordinary, and what I have observed about him that he is very keen about woman empowerment. So we will learn about him, his journey, and about communication skills and how to, make ourselves great, how uh, to project ourselves in a way that we can get success. So without any further ado, I invite Mr. Christian Smeltish.
Oh, here he is.
Hi.
Hello, Burair. Nice to meet you,
Hello.
and I'm honored to be here.
Thank you. Thank you. So, how are you? How is it going?
I am fine, thank you. And I am Germany actually, although I'm Swiss. I'm in Germany, and things in Germany are still a bit special, with COVID times. But everything is going into the right development, especially if we are in the online business. We do not have any restrictions, right?
That's good. That's good. Uh, can you hear me?
I can hear you, yes, but I cannot see you. Yes, connection is not very stable.
Yeah, I think the network is slow. I mean, communication. You talk about different things related to communication. You are a mimic expert. Tell me that. Tell our audience as well that what is a mimic expert and what how he can help others.
Well, as a mimic expert, I am able to read facial expressions, to read body language, to read what your voice is telling me in relationship to what your body is telling. So I can tell also about if you're telling the truth or not, if you're authentic or not. But mostly it's all about the emotions that someone can see. And if you're able to see the emotions that are happening in the face of another person, which the person cannot control, then you might be able to connect on a much deeper level because you can directly address these emotions that you see and ask the person about her situation or about his situation. For example, if they're happy or if they're sad, if something is going on in their lives, if I can help you or whatever. So, for example, today I had a meeting with two friends, and one of them, she wasn't showing her face. So I couldn't read her face. But I was listening to her voice, and then I realized her voice was slower than usual. She was not so, eloquent with her wording, although she is American. And then I realized, okay, something's going on. I was asking her what is going on, if she's sad, and yeah, she had some family issues that she couldn't solve by herself. So it is sometimes very helpful to have these tools. Sometimes it's just experience that we all have. But usually, when you are not trained to read expressions in the face, then in 50% of the cases, you are at the wrong side of, of the scale. So, uh, as an expert, I'm teaching that, and also I'm helping, in this case, women in the business field to treat situations better, communication situations better, because you see what is going on in the face. For example, in my face, you see a lot about this going on here, which I can do intentionally. But still, when I'm speaking, some things are happening, which means I'm putting more intonation, more impact into what I'm saying. Just as an example.
So, it recall me about the mind sciences and NLP. What I have learned through NLP, that there are three kinds of people, and they are the ones who like the visualization thing, and the other one who like the speaking, and the third one, they are the kinesthetic.
No, there's no scientific evidence to that. None at all. The system I'm using is based on more than 1,500 studies and meta-studies. And what is being taught on NLP, there's no scientific evidence on that. Not at all. It's still wild guessing. It just doesn't work. I know the system because I'm from hypnosis. I'm coming from Ericksonian hypnosis, which is, in fact, the fundamental that NLP is using. But the things are just not really working. What you can say, if someone is present, if someone is sad, more in an internal process, or if a person is like kind of thinking about something, everything else is just something that you project into it and just is not true. There is no scientific proof. They try to prove it, it's not working. Sorry to say that. I'm quite direct in these things. I'm Swiss. We do not hold back. Just saying.
No. It's great. I mean, I'm very much interested to how you have learned all those things, and I wish to learn this thing as well, because mimic expert is a new term for me, and I mean, for those who are watching, they also like to learn these things. So how can one can be a mimic expert? I mean, is there anything online, or you can go for something or spend some time in an academy or something like that?
I'm offering that training. I'm offering that training because I'm an expert trainer officially. But there are not a lot of trainings in English. So if you're interested in that, in Facebook, I have a group which is called Read Your Client. Read Your Client. So you've got a phone call. Read Your Client. There I'm teaching these things, which is a huge program that I'm putting up within the next few weeks. Because it's a membership, and that will teach you all the things: facial expressions, voice tone, language, tonality, body language, and all of these things that are very helpful in business and also in private life.
Yeah, that's great. So I can relate to this thing, that in a corporate life or in a relationship, everyone needs to read the emotions, the reactions, so one can have a good and better life. So I mean, there's a thing that is called response. There's a thing that is called reaction. How can you relate with that? And is it okay to react, or is it okay to respond? What is the best thing for you?
I think that everybody has to decide that by himself. I mean, a response, as far as I can say, is more you see or you get information and you create a response on that, while a reaction is more emotionally based. Both is fine depending on the situation. Let's say you are in a business situation and you're within a negotiation about something, price or offer or whatever. Then it might be that an emotional response or an emotional reaction is not really helpful. Then a response would be more helpful, because then you're still acting from conscious mind, laying out the options, laying out the possibilities, which is different. Depending if you are in a private situation with your spouse, with your loved one, and you get a problem on the table and you react more like business, you just react with a response, maybe your spouse will not be happy because she wants to see an emotional reaction. So it depends on the context, you see. I personally am more on responses because that's the way my mind works. But I disciplined my mind because I'm a very emotional person. And if someone is good in reading emotions, you can see everything happening in my face. So even if I'm responding, let's say more in facts and figures, you see the things in my face if you know what you're looking for.
Okay, okay. So can someone respond, or can someone read the emotions, or read the responses, or you can, react at once, or he has to wait for some time? I mean, if I'm talking to you, if I have learned Mimic Expert program or certification, or I have all that stuff, but can I read the person exact the same manner and I respond at the meantime, or do I have to research for that, or do I have to take some time to learn all those stuff?
Well, of course, reading emotions is a science of itself, a science that you can learn. It's like you learn a different language, right? Because you're just not trained to see what is going on in the face, in the different areas of the face. You don't see or you don't know what is going on, how I am using my hands if I'm shaking my body. You are not trained to listen to the tonality of my language. But when you're trained, then it's like as if you are speaking English, which is, I think, your second language. It's also my second language. It's similar. It's like a pattern recognition. As if you were playing chess, you recognize patterns in the face or in the behavior of another person. So you do not need to do research because you see the things. Then it's your decision if you are going to answer directly on what you see based on the emotions. And there's one very important principle is that what you see and what your interpretation is two different things. You can see, for example, when I'm pressing my lips like this. When I'm pressing my lips, that is giving you an information that I might be angry, but you don't know why I'm angry, right? So when your interpretation is I'm angry because you said something about the offer, you might be right, but you might be wrong. You don't know. You have to ask. So what you can do in this case is, oh, sir, I see something is not going the right way. It looks like you're not happy with my offer. Can I help you with that? Is something unclear with my offer? Or does something not fit into your requirements? How can I help you with that? So you often do not address directly the emotional reaction, but you say, okay, there's something wrong, and you address it. And when you address it, you have the possibility to get in a communication with a person in an information exchange, and then you find possibilities to find out, okay, why came this reaction? It could have been something that you said. It could have been something that the client was thinking. For example, when you say a price, and the price is absolutely accurate, but at the moment, for me, the price is too high. And then I'm kind of angry at myself because I didn't put back some savings, or my credit card is not ready, or whatever. So it doesn't have to do necessarily anything with you or with your offer. That's why it's so important to see the reaction. You know, okay, something is not right, and then to address that in a very soft and business-like way, so you can exchange information, and then you find yourself on the similar level with the client without losing the client, because what I just showed is one of the killers of business opportunities, when the client gets somehow angry at something. And the point is, and that's the important thing, emotional reactions show up for a split of a second. We talk about a tenth of a second, which is like you just don't see it. It's like I can do a lot of things within that small amount of time, but the emotional reactions that come directly from our subconscious brain, from our emotional brain, they are so fast that if you are not trained, you don't see them. But if you're trained, you see them, and then you can react. And then you can react with a response. You see, and then these things work together. You react on something that you see, but you react with a response. These things are tied together, right?
Okay. So, you talk a lot of time. You talk about the women empowerment and the relationship and I mean, how to empower women in a business. So, what I observe that there must be a positive and perfect relationship in house so that women can lead outside the house. So, how can you, define empowerment of women in a very small way? I mean, in a sentence or in a short way.
Okay, first of all, you make an assumption that it has to be a perfect relationship in the house, which is an assumption. That's not necessary. You need, as a woman, for example, and now we are going directly to that topic. As a woman, you need to be very conscious about what is going on. If you are, for example, suppressed in a relationship, you don't like to have that outside your house. Maybe you accept it from your husband, which is not a good thing, in my opinion. But if you accept it as a woman in your house, that's one thing. But in the business life, something else. Now, you need to find ways how to work with the disrespect that men are showing. And I mean, that's proven fact. We are talking about statistics and science. It's proven fact that a lot of women are like put down, making fun of, are being bullied, are not taken seriously, are not being promoted the right way. And sometimes they even work harder than men and they're not promoted and they're not being respected the right way and not treated equal. So they need to, it's for them the same thing as I said before for the emotion reading. They need to learn the way how to present and how to communicate in a way that it gets into the male brain. Because we think we process information differently, which is also science. But when they know
Yeah,
how to address it, then they can put into the information we want. Because a lot of times it's said about women, well, they're just emotional. As men, we are emotional too. But in the business life, we are more in facts and figures. That's what we are interested in. Now, how can women combine emotions with facts and figures? That's the interesting part. And that's the part that I'm teaching and training them to help them to move forward, to help them communicate on a better level or on a level that they achieve what they want: promotions, career, the project management, whatever. It's all more or less the same. But women have been conditioned to stand back. They have been conditioned to stay silent. They have been conditioned to not speak when men are speaking. In some countries more, in some countries less. But it's still happening in all the countries over the world. So, how to overcome that conditioning, how to build their self-esteem, how to generate, knowledge about their tactics, how to speak and communicate and present effectively and close their deals or close whatever they wanted in a special environment. That's all about the program In Her True Voice, and that's much more in there. Burair, since I do not see you, I just continue speaking. I hope that's okay. One of the pillars in Her True Voice is they're getting tactics. I mean, I'm a man. I know how they work in their minds. And since I'm a very emotional person, a very empathic person, also by teaching and training myself and going into lots of trainings, I see the problems that a lot of women have. And I know a lot of the pain points, still asking them about the pain points. And I also have what I call a advisory board of successful women behind the program of Her True Voice that I can ask and exchange information to. What problems do women have? But also you see that. So Burair, I do not see you. I hope you still hear me because I still go on with what I wanted to talk about. until you're back. Something that I'm going to teach them is tactics, because men are using specific tactics to put women under their pressure, or to prevent women to be promoted. Now, as a woman, you need to know how these tactics are working and what you can do against it. And, in a kind of preventive way, you also need to know, or they also need to know, what they can do as tactics so they're taken seriously.
Oh my God.
Burair? Burair, can't hear you. So, okay. And of course, learning these tactics is, as I said before, it's like a skill set of a new language, which is helpful for those who embrace the program. They will learn also how to read clients or how to read other people. It's part of the program. While I have the program Read Your Clients, reading your clients or reading emotions is part of the empowerment of women in the program Her True Voice. And that's an important part of it. So tactics, mindset, you're back. These are all important steps or parts of the program Her True Voice. I think you have some bad connection, right? Burair? Burair, I cannot hear you.
I think, can I hear you? There is a problem.
Well, I was there, was also speaking. I hope you have it.
Hello.
I'm online. I'm hearing you, Burair. So I just
Hello.
continue. I just continue speaking.
I can hear myself.
If you can, okay, that's bad. Bad connection. Burair, I'm here, and I'm talking about the program of Her True Voice.
Hello.
So you were also asking me about some question. I mean, if there is gender equality or not. And I just keep speaking, is gender equality a myth or a reality? Can genders be equal? In my opinion, yes. It has nothing to do with the genders, but it has to do with their speaking and presenting.
I can hear both of you. Thank you. But why I cannot hear?
So the abilities to speak and present yourself in a way that you get seen, heard, and respected is mission critical to your career. And it will also impact the world. If you know how to speak about your dreams, if you know how to speak about your goals, and to address these things in the right way, you will get the promotion, you will get the support of other people.
The inconvenience.
It is important to see being seen, heard, and respected.
If I not get to the voice,
what I want with the True Voice program is to help women to change the world. Why? Because I believe that women, if they find their voice and they start to be seen, if they start to be heard, then they will have an impact on the planet. I strongly believe that if this planet would be if women would be in governments, same way as men are, as well as in economics and in politics, the planet would be a better place. So one of the reasons why I do that is also because of my own history. My mother was not a very strong person in the kind of mindset, and my father was very dominant. And I saw the harm and the problems that he caused by not, communicating the right way. He caused harm to me and he caused harm to my mother. And it took her decades until she started to withstand him. So I realized and this is happening in the business world,
I
then
think
this is
I
going to be a
should hear.
problem of itself. So this is the reason why I started with our true voice. There are other reasons that are important, but just for you to know, I have a personal story that is behind the program of her true voice. And I hope that Burair is now hearing me. And if not, I'm just
Yeah,
going on with speaking.
thank you for taking this on and on and on again, because uh, internet is something horrible. For I mean,
I know.
it's so embarrassing for me that you are on my show and I am not communicating well. And sorry for that. Sorry for inconvenience.
It's all fine.
Back to the thing. Back to the questions. Uh, there's a thing there that I have heard about gender equality, and there is a goal. I mean, I think it's a fifth goal in Sustainable Development Goal program of United Nations. So they say gender equality is a must thing, but
Yep.
in some developing countries or in some areas, I mean, I do not agree with that. But they say gender equality is a myth, that you cannot equal all those strata of society, equal all those people who are maybe they are different, maybe they have different thoughts, different choices. So do you agree with that gender equality is a myth or not?
I tell you where the myth comes from. It's the men who are afraid of women. That's where it comes from. Women are much more powerful. Who is in your home when you were a child? Who was the person that was taking care of everything? Was your mother, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and even in some of relationships, even of strong men at home, women are taking care of everything. And the male brain and the female brain are different. We are faster in proceeding information. It has to do with the white structure in our brains. While the gray structure, where everything is connected, this structure in female brains usually, not every time, but usually, has more density. There are more connections, which means that women are usually thinking about things much deeper, much longer, and they want to see and feel the implications of their decisions, which results in the process that they are usually not so fast as men are. Men say, when I have, I don't know, 50, 60% of information, I make a decision and I go for it. While women, if they have 85%, they're still not sure if they should make the decision. So this is a myth. This is a myth. I mean, of course, we are biologically different. But in society and also in political and also in economics, we do not really use that women are so powerful. They can take a lot, and they usually take care of a lot. Let's take IBM, Fortune 500 company, worldwide known. Who is at the leadership of IBM? It's a woman. And since she is in the leadership, the turnaround of their stuff is lower, has lowered tremendously. It's more stability because women are usually taking care of their stuff much better. That's because their social brain is different. It's bigger from birth on. Why? Yeah, they are giving birth. So they're taking care of children. They're taking care of the family. And this takes place in the social part, in the social, let's say, inside the brain, there's a part that we call the social brain, which is not really correct. But, this area is bigger in female brains than in male brains. So they're better in taking care of people, which results in less turnaround of employees in companies if they're taking care. I don't say every woman is like that, but I see a lot of women who are like that, who are working differently. So when you say, is this a myth or not? Yeah, it's a myth because men do not want it. Men in power do not want women in power. They're afraid of them. And you know what? Women don't know that. But I tell them.
So,
I tell them all the time, you know what? Women are afraid of you.
so
Okay.
that is something that I mean, really insightful, and I mean, admire that. Uh, so you say that men are afraid of women. That's why they call it a myth. That's why they call it. I mean, they are running from the reality. um, it's all about education as well, because when you grow up, I mean, certain things are inculcated to your brain, inculcated to the men, that you are strong and women are not. Your sister is not strong.
Right.
So education is very important in that way. And
Absolutely.
I mean, Germany is very Germany is also a country and very well known about its education system. So, how do you define a good education system for any country?
Well, that's a very difficult question because I'm not really into that's not really my specialty. I talk more about the conditioning that is happening. We have good, let's say, good
Yeah,
schools in the sense of with the possibilities that they offer. We have more female teachers now than male teachers, which sometimes is good, but for the boys, not always good because the female way of dealing with things
teaching.
is sometimes not the way
Yeah.
how boys would like to deal with it, and because they're different and they need to know where their strength is coming from. So I do not always empower that or really find that good, but yeah, we have in Switzerland, Germany, Austria, we have good educational system, good schools. However, I think they are still behind their time. I mean, now in these, for example, in these COVID times, homeschooling.
Yeah.
Now it's almost a year, and German schools did not achieve to manage the situation of homeschooling and having stable internet connections to provide for the students yeah, they still don't have it, and the teachers are not
Yeah.
able. I mean, go to Zoom, there are solutions. It took me when this problem came up, it took me 30 seconds to go on to start Google to look for that, and I had three solutions using systems that are not stable, systems that are not built to have huge amounts of data load. Even after a year, they are not able to provide that. And I see that because we have two children at home in homeschooling, and I can see it all day long, the problems they have.
Mm.
So, is Germany really so good? No, it's not. It's just definitely not. The schooling system is providing all the information that we usually have, but the schooling system is not preparing them for life or for business. It's not. And that drives me crazy. It's just not. Sorry.
So, yeah. No, no, no. It's always good to have a different perspective. If I mean, COVID is a blessing for me. I have interviewed many people. I have talked to many people. I've joined many groups. I've learned different skills. So COVID is a blessing for me. I before COVID, I was naive in, I mean, internet things and all of those things. So
Yeah,
this is a good thing. And you said that you are not a part of the education, and I mean, you are not something expert in that, but I think you are, because you are providing a kind of a solution to this I mean, to the society by empowering women, because women have, I mean, a very important role in our society.
absolutely.
So yeah, so what do you, I mean, back to the lateral part and the ending part of this conversation, what books do you recommend?
Sorry that I didn't get that acoustically. The question.
uh, what books do you recommend to our audience or the people who are listening?
Yeah, you prepared me to that question. I don't have a solution for that. I would empower anyone to go into the personal development because that's something schools do not provide. Teachers are not able to provide that because they never did that. They're used to having right and always being right. So when you talk to teachers, a lot of them are not able to help you with your personal development. That's something that is very important. Next thing that is very important is to train your presentation skills. They start to do it in schools, but what I see is, it's 15, 20 years behind. You need to learn to be able to speak in front of an audience, to present in a way you are taken seriously, and to close in the sense that you get the effect you want. If you want to sell something, if you want to provide a solution, whatever it is, this is mission critical. You can look at different people who are, world leaders. And what are they good? In communication skills. Do they use it the right way? Well, that's a different thing. But communication skills are absolutely mission critical. They do not teach it the right way and in a way you need it later on. They even do not teach you the way you use computers or solutions. I can see that here live, and I can see it. I have 3 children of my own who are adult already, so because of my second marriage. And also with them, I saw most of the things they learned in school, they didn't need later on. It's a selection system that doesn't really provide you with solutions that you need in life. It's a system that trains your brain, but doesn't train you to be ready in life, for what you want to do, which is, I think, the most important message that I would give a teacher or a school. So you do not train your teachers, your students through life. And you should change that. But they cannot, because they don't know how. They do not have any people from economics. They do not have entrepreneurs teaching them. They have teachers who learned from teachers, from teachers. They were never working in business before, so they have no clue what's going on. That drives me crazy too. Really makes me unhappy.
Yeah, that connects me with another question, and that gives me a thought too. That there's a term that is called learn, unlearn, and relearn. Because we are not providing entrepreneurs, so we need to relearn and before unlearn and then relearn. So how can one relearn things in a situation where everyone is ready-made, everyone is available, you just choose and pick. You do not have the ability, you do not have the space to create things like entrepreneurs do. So how one can learn, unlearn, and relearn?
Okay, first of all, it's a matter of interest. I do not watch TV. So that means I have per day usually 4 to 6 hours more than most of the people that I have. So it's a whole working day. Until I had some health problems 2 months before, I was usually on 200% at minimum. So while someone was building one program, I was building 2. Why? Because I was focused on doing what I wanted to do. So interest is one thing. I come from martial arts. So Bruce Lee is one of my mentors, or I would say one of the people that I rely to or that I can relate to. And he always says, empty your cup. Empty your cup means, okay, question everything. When you question what you've learned, then you'll train yourself to be critical and also to take in to absorb anything that is helpful for you when you question things. Because when you question things, you need to find an answer. If you find an answer that is good, fine. If you don't find an answer, abort. Easy. So that means empty your cup is kind of unlearning and then asking questions and finding solutions and answers, and then question again the answers. And if you have the answers you're happy with, then you have your solution. Okay? Which is a process that is working inside of your brain. And I know this is a very, let's say, internal thing. It's not something that you do kind of with a system while you ask you, okay, unlearn, relearn, and so on. which is a systematic approach, and I accept that. And sometimes you can do that in specific fields. I personally believe that the brain is so interconnected that with your experience and with your interest and your emotional addiction to something or your emotional connection to something, that is changing a lot. That is driving you.
Yeah, that's a good answer. So, I mean, this connects me again. I have a lot of questions, and when you talk about different things, this connects me to other thing that when you learn something, when you go on to something, and when you invent something, I mean, like to change the environment, then there comes a stress. I mean, a stress, anxiety, or depression. So, how to be resilient to overcome all those problems, all those stresses of your life?
Okay, let me explain you the term stress in the way I usually do with my clients. There's you, and there's your expectations. Where's the camera? Here it is, the camera. And when the difference between you, what you have, and your expectations are too different, it's like a feather that is being tied apart too much. The more the feather is being tied apart too much, the more you get stressed. So relax. Try to make things to divide the things into smaller parts. It's like project management. That's the way project management works. Here you have the goal, and here you are. Right? Upsla. Here you are. Here I have the goal. How do you get there? Not by linear, because that usually doesn't work, but by making steps. And during the way, you always question yourself what you need, what is the next best solution, and you make step by step. Next thing is, don't believe in linear 1 + 1 = 2. That's bullshit. Why? You have not 1 plus how much makes 2. You have unlimited amount of solutions. We can say, let's say, square root, 1 plus, make a square root of 4, which makes 2, divided by 2. You close the thing, and then that makes 1. So what this term 1 and 1 + 1, what the second term 1 makes, are unlimited solutions. That means on your way to your success, to an invention, to a process like I generated, is, let's say, you can define it by yourself. It's not defined by itself. There is no linear way in nature. It doesn't exist as a mathematical special solution. It doesn't exist in physics, because in physics, when you make 1 to 1, you want to from one point to the other point, there's gravitation. So it's always a bow. And there's a mathematical solution for what's the distance between in it and what's the distance of, when you calculate the bow. Gravitation is always everywhere. So it just doesn't exist. That drives me crazy. It's something they teach you in schools that doesn't work. Now we get a question: who do you think gained the best communication skill gender-wise? I would say Naveed Ahmed, who just asked that question. The best communication skill as such doesn't exist. It's a communication skill that helps you to move forward, because that's very personal. Even between, Burair and myself, we are different people. We have different education. We have different backgrounds. So we have different communication skills, and we have different needs. You need to find out what you need so you can communicate best. Communication training is very helpful, but also to know how to relate on emotional levels is very helpful, which men usually don't do. In most of the seminars that I am about communication, about emotional things, there are almost no men. There are, let's say, 20%, 2 of 10. There are men. Usually it's women, and women are more about the communication. It's like, they chit chat much more than we do. I mean, for example, so one of my best friends, he is living near Berlin, somewhere, not Berlin, Hamburg, which is almost 12 hours away from me. So we do not see each other a lot of times. Didn't see him for several years. So we came together and he said, "Okay, how are you doing?" So, okay. So, okay, and how are you doing? Okay. So that's what we, that was the communication we had. While women were, it's different. They exchange more information in a different way. I don't say it's good or bad. As men, we usually do not show our emotions. I don't show my emotions when other men are around. Usually, you have to know exactly where to push my buttons until my emotions come up, because I don't want to look like I'm weak. And that's one of the problems that we as men face in our training, in our education, from our parents in school. Men don't cry. What a bullshit. Okay, really, I'm sorry using this, but it's not, men don't cry. It doesn't help you. It's creating long-term health problems. If you do not show your emotions, that can create some kind of burnout. And there's scientific evidence for that. You need to be able to share your emotions. I was in burnout. I know exactly what I'm talking about. I was there. It's heavy to get out of it. So when you ask me about my background, about how to teach emotions or through voice and so on, I have 15 professions, in which most of them I went deep into. I'm world champion in Korean sword art. I'm in martial arts and in communication, and so on. But it's not about me. It's just to give you an impression, where do I get my information from? I trained myself for the last 40 years to become a communicator, to become a hypnotist, naturopath, I can do really a lot of things. You can put me together with almost anyone on this planet, and I have topics to talk about. And I think for women, this is important too, that they're able to connect and communicate and to discuss on the same level. And a lot of women are not there because they feel they're not good enough, but they are. They're just not trained. I'm going to train them. So they will not only be here, but, men have to really put on their warm jackets after women come out of my trainings, because they will be skilled in a way they are not used to. That's my promise.
That's a great thing, and I'm really impressed by your dedication to work with women, and the thing that you told about the emotions. Yes, I mean, it's been years that I have read "Men Are From Mars, Women Are from Venus" by John Gray, and it was a great book, and I started learning about relationships, communication, and all that stuff through that book. So let me end this conversation by saying that, I mean, uh, one of my last question would be that how meditation can help in these things, and do you use meditation in your, in your coaching sessions, or while you're trying to teach people about communication?
To be honest, meditation is not one of the skill sets that I'm really advanced in. I use focusing techniques, but I use, let's say, hypnotic language patterns to help people to unlock their potential. For myself, I do self-hypnosis, which is kind of similar to meditation, but I cannot sit down and sit there for 20 minutes. I would sleep, or my mind starts to work and work very fast, and then I cannot sit there and go on. So when I say I would meditate, that's when I go out in nature with my dog and I just enjoy nature. And there are different ways how to meditate. It's just being with yourself and feeling comfortable. And what you do in your mind is something else. Usually they say in meditation, you shouldn't think about things. I cannot stop my mind. I can, but I don't want to. These are the times. And I hate to lose time, So when I have time, I think about the things I'm working on. I think about you. I think about people. I was thinking about the questions that you were sending me, how I would answer them. I'm constantly thinking about solutions that I want to provide, not about problems, about solutions to problems other people have, because that's what I'm doing. I'm helping them to find solutions.
That's great. That's great. Though we have, I mean, not a good connection, not a good internet connection between us, but we had a great talk, and I hope that people would enjoy your words, because
Yeah, connection is not stable. So, Burair, I don't hear you. But yes, I didn't hear you, Burair. Okay. I think that's one of the problems that we have when we are working over different countries is internet connection or the bandwidth that we are using. So we just go on. One of the two is just going on, providing information, providing value, helping the other person to get through internet connection problems.
thank you for bearing with me, and I'm really embarrassed, and but it makes me laugh. Thank you for that, and then let me end this interview by saying that, I mean, can you tell me how can we connect with you, because most of us will want to learn about your mimic expert certifications and all those stuff that you train people about communication and all that.
Yep.
How people can connect with you?
As I said, there are two possibilities. My first group is Read Your Client on Facebook. There I'm providing trainings for free. And the second group is Her True Voice. I don't know if it's necessary to friend me. If yes, then just relate that to this interview, and then I will friend you, and you will be able to connect into the groups. Please make sure you answer the questions, because I answer questions. There are 3 questions that you have to answer. If you don't answer the questions, you will not be allowed to enter the groups. It's mission critical to answer the questions and to also to accept the rules inside of the groups, because there I do have zero tolerance if someone is not behaving the right way, which I don't think your people will do. But I need to say that because sometimes people do not know how to behave, unfortunately. So try to connect with me, Her True Voice, or Read Your Client. That's where you get in. And if you want to know more, you can connect me there on Facebook. At the moment, I do not provide specific websites. I'm working on building them, but in the moment, I'm really working with Facebook groups and with memberships that are coming out of Facebook groups. So later on, if you are interested to get more, there are membership groups where you get the deep programs that I'm providing there. But some free training you will get in the Facebook groups.
Okay, okay. Thank you for that, and I will paste that link in the description. I will paste all those links that you have given in the description. And tell all the audience about that. Thank you for coming, and and with that note, that learning is everything, and you need to empower women if you want to be success. If you want to have success in your life. So let me end this interview. This great chat. Uh,
I
next,
have one thing.
until the next. Yeah.
I would like to gift
Yes.
your audience something. I would like to gift one of my books to them that usually you either
Okay.
don't get. You usually don't get it because it's not for sale. I'm only gifting it to my clients, or that you could buy, but it would cost, I don't know, $70 or something like that. So I can provide you the link, and then you can provide the link in your description, and they can get it. Or if they want to come into the groups, they will get it there. So it's in both cases, it's for free. just honoring your work and honoring your clients that are listening to you.
I'm so grateful. I'm so happy that you have given this gift. May you live long and you get all those things that you have planned in your life. Let me end this interview. Audience, if you are watching this interview, I'm sure you will watch after this, after the live stream. Make sure you follow all those links and all those questions if you want to attend the group. You enter into the group and make sure you download the book. This is a free gift from for all those Pakistanis and all those people who are watching me and all those subscribers. So until the next good video, until the next good guest. Bye bye.
Live long and prosper.